Here's a thing that I think has been underreported in the news. The president fired the head archivist of the United States, as he had promised to do before taking office. Not many people have taken notice of this, but what does it mean, especially if you're interested, for example, in the JFK records, which are housed at the National Archives? Well, it doesn't add a lot towards transparency now, does it? I'm afraid that we don't have a clear path to seeing any of the newly discovered documents being released, much less any of the 3,700 documents that we were waiting on via the executive order. The plan was put on Trump's desk on February 7th. Not a word since then about the upcoming release of said plan or what the plan even says about the release of the files. And in the middle of all this, he fires the head archivist at the National Archives. Now, this is just a few of the things that the head archivist does. I'm reading from a list. So it's concerning and surprising that this isn't being covered more. The Archivist of the United States is responsible for administering the Electoral College process. They provide official instructions to the states on how to carry out their Electoral College voting. The National Archives is responsible for publishing the Code of Federal Regulations, the official document codifying all regulations of federal agencies, and the Federal Register, where the government gives notice of presidential actions, public meetings, and any proposed changes to federal regulations before the required public comment period. The National Archives is responsible for administering the constitutional amendment process. The archivist would receive any proposed amendment from Congress and transmit it to the states with instructions. If you ever wanted to do a constitutional amendment, as the National Archives states in all of its rulemaking postings, agencies may not destroy federal records without the approval of the Archivist of the United States. That would give you pause. What agencies would be interested in destroying federal records? That may apply to the JFK case. The National Archives houses the National Personnel Records Center for the federal government. This is where all the personnel files of all federal employees are transferred after they separate from the government. The National Archives has important roles in the classification process, including housing the Information Security Oversight Office and the National Declassification Center, JFK related. In addition, the National Archives receives classified documents from the government for retention, as was widely reported during the president's related Mar-a-Lago indictment. ISOO is the office that by law must be notified by anyone who encounters mishandled classified documents. The Freedom of Information Act ensures that citizens have the ability to hold the government accountable by establishing a right to access public records. It is a crucial tool for journalists. National Archives Office of Government Information Services is the ombudsman for the federal FOIA program, receiving public complaints about violations of the law and producing compliance reports on agencies. You watch, mind my words, something about this is going to interfere with those of us who are interested in seeing the JFK unreleased files, 3,700 files, and I have made a list of the top 12 files that were interested in my pinned video. So you should watch that to know exactly what we're looking for and what we need to see to know if the agencies are taking this executive order seriously.